All right, the time is now 9 o'clock. We're monitoring the lobby shortly and we'll let anybody in that may be a minute or two late. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dora Lee as she confirms who has signed up for comment today. Once that is done, we will not take any more comment requests after that point.
And Scott and Miriam, I know you just signed in. So if you can please see the instructions on this slide and go ahead and answer in the chat if you plan on speaking today. Thank you. Okay, Kobe, could you advance the slide, please? Okay, so when you do your comment, please clearly state and spell your full name. If you are representing an organization, please clearly state the name of your organization you are representing. You will have only 3 minutes to speak. The timer will start after you have stated your name and, if applicable, the name of your organization you are representing. A 30-second warning will be given. At the end of 3 minutes, you will be given a signal to stop. Once a signal is given, you may complete your sentence and then you must stop. TEA staff will not be responding to your comments today, nor will TEA staff ask or answer any questions. We also ask if you can please submit your comments in writing to spedrule@tea.texas.gov. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and go over the roster and make sure that we have correctly signed in the people who are speaking today. So first to speak will be Kara Ballou, who is speaking. Eduardo Soto, not speaking. Heather Gore, not speaking. Stephen Aleman, speaking. Holly Eaton, not speaking. Reina Salinas, not speaking. Mari Lopez, not speaking. Andrea Chevalier, speaking. Melissa Desmond, not speaking. Miriam Blanton, not speaking. And Scott, were you planning on speaking today? Scott Cowgill?
He shook his head no, so Scott.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm trying to get it all to work. Scott Cowgill, not speaking.
Okay, thank you so much. Just making sure. 1 second. And Melissa, I wanted to confirm with you as well. Are you not speaking today? Okay, if that changes, you can type in the chat and we'll come to you. So
Dorley, you went on mute. I'm sorry.
thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Melissa, for confirming that you're not speaking. So at this time, we are going to start with Kara. Kara, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, Kobe, I'll hand it over to you.
Whenever you're ready to start, Kara, I will then start the timer. Are you able to see the timer on the screen?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Okay, are we good to go? You can hear me and see me?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. Hello, my name is Kara Ballou, and that's spelled K-A-R-A-B-E-L-E-W, and I represent the Texas Public Charter School Association. Even before the pandemic, the Texas Public Charter School Association and our charter schools were laser focused on utilizing highly effective strategies like intensive accelerated instruction or specialized tutoring to address and close learning gaps between student groups. In celebration of Black History Month, the Texas Public Charter School Association recently released a one-pager, According to TEA data, the one-pager provides that Texas public charter schools have a smaller white to African American student achievement gap than is even seen in some of the state's highest performing traditional ISDs. Our charter schools are doing more than ever to close achievement gaps for our vulnerable students. We want to thank the Texas Education Agency for writing HB 4545 rules that comply with statutory intent to provide intensive accelerated instruction or specialized tutoring to each student that did not pass the STAR assessment and is performing below grade level. We request that TEA consider the following HB 4545 rule changes before the rule is finally enacted. TEA's HB 4545 FAQ provides that charter schools and traditional ISD districts of innovation do not need to apply for a TEA waiver from certain certified classroom teacher requirements. The Texas Public Charter School Association requests TEA include this TEA FAQ provision in the HB 4545 rules and make any other modifications necessary to comply with the legislative intent around charter school law. In the current year, secondly, in the current year, 2021-2022, TEA waived strict compliance with HB 4545 to accommodate the significant scheduling, staffing, and other changes necessary to meet HB 4545 requirements. Since this waiver, and as the pandemic has continued, school systems across Texas have faced more severe teacher and tutor shortages, continued classroom learning disruptions, and declining ADA due to COVID absences. Therefore, we request that TEA also waive strict adherence with HB 4545 next year, the 2022-2023 school year. Finally, like our ISD counterparts, many charters are finding that average daily attendance is changing daily and continues to be significantly impacted by absences related to the pandemic, making budgeting extremely difficult. Texas Public Charter School requests that TEA work with state leadership to provide an ADA hold harmless or additional operational minute adjustments for the current year to mitigate these budget challenges and ensure adequate funding to pay for HB 4545. Thanks for the wonderful work you are doing to support our schools and students during this difficult time. We look forward to continued efforts to enact HB 4545 to support our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Next to speak is Stephen Aleman. And Kobe, will you start the timer after they've stated their name and organization?
Sure, and we had a timer error, but Kara did finish within the 3-minute allotment.
Thank you. Stephen, whenever you're ready.
Great, good morning. My name is Stephen Aleman. The first name is spelled S-T-E-V-E-N. The last name is spelled A-L-E-M-A-N. This morning, I'm here to speak on behalf of Disability Rights Texas. Disability Rights Texas is the protection and advocacy agency in our state for students with disabilities and other individuals with disabilities. This morning, my comments are specific to subsection E as in Edward of the proposed new regulation, Title 19 Texas Administrative Code, section 104.1001E. Subsection E, as we know, relates to the role of the Admission, Review, and Dismissal, or ARD or ARD committee, in the implementation of House Bill 4545, an accelerated instruction for students with disabilities. Disability Rights Texas will submit written comments, but in summary, we are requesting 3 modifications to subsection E as in Edward with regard to the role of ARD committees and students with disabilities. We believe that these are modest requests and will just help further facilitate the implementation of HB 4545 with regard to students with disabilities. The changes we're requesting are with regard to 1, the timeline for meeting, 2, the individualized education program or IEP statement of present levels of academic achievement, and finally, 3rd, for transportation for students with disabilities. First, we'd like to see a cross-reference to Texas Education Code section 28.0211F as in Frank, on timelines for the ARD committee to meet as the Accelerated Learning Committee. There is a statutory deadline, and we believe it would be proper for the ARD committee to adhere to that statutory deadline if serving as the Accelerated Learning Committee. Second, we'd like to see a requirement added to this regulation subsection that requires the Admission Review and Dismissal Committee to note the reason for the student's participation in accelerated instruction. Specifically, that notation should be added to the IEP statement of the child's present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. The IEP statement of present levels of academic achievement and functional performance sets the benchmark for where the student is when the ARD meets for consideration of all planning of services. And this would include accelerated instruction. So we believe it should be specifically required of ARD committees to note why is a student participating in accelerated instruction, because that goes directly to the student's present levels of academic achievement. Finally, we would ask that a modification be made to the subsection E to add a cross-reference to Texas Education Code section 28.0211J, which relates to the requirement for transportation be provided in some instances for students participating in accelerated instruction. Since students with disabilities receive specialized transportation at times, it's important that this cross-reference be added to ensure that that specific accommodation of specialized transportation is provided for the student with a disability, if necessary, if they're participating in accelerated instruction. That concludes my comments. Again, we will follow up with written remarks that parallel these statements today. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Stephen. Next speaking, we have Andrea Chevalier.
Good morning. I'm Andrea Chevalier, A-N-D.
Andrea, I'm sorry, your volume is very low.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to leave my video off. My name is Andrea Chevalier with the Association of Texas Professional Educators, ANDREACHEVALIER. Thank you for the opportunity to provide public comment today on this proposed rule. Our comments center around subsection C of the proposed rule, and due to staffing challenges in public schools right now, we'd like to see a clarification that the individuals who provide the accelerated instruction do not have to be classroom teachers, because it seems that school districts are overwhelmingly putting classroom teachers in those positions, and that's causing quite a bit of stress and burden on teachers who are already trying to do so many other things during the pandemic. So that's the extent of our comments. So just in subsection C, just to clarify that the people who fill those accelerated instruction requirements do not have to be classroom teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. And for everybody who spoke today, I am also dropping in the chat the email where you can also submit your comments in writing. At this time, that was the end of our list for anybody speaking. If anybody is on the list who was not speaking but is actually speaking, please go ahead and let us know now. Otherwise, we will wrap this up here in a few minutes, and I'll turn it back over to Kobe.
Thank you, Dorley. Thank you for joining us today. The video of this meeting will be posted shortly as we get it uploaded to YouTube. And as always, just to reiterate what Dorley said, if you have additional comments or you would like to submit documentation in support of the comments you made today, please send them to the email address fedrule@tea.texas.gov. And I want to thank you for joining us. That concludes the hearing for today. I will stop the recording. Thank you.